his thing once again with a deck that many didn't really expect to win here. I think coming into the tournament, Is It Phoenix was the deck to beat. It still continues to be the deck to beat, as there were many Modern events this weekend in Magic, and Is It Phoenix mostly got the job done at all of them.
Yeah, how many copies in the top 8s of the 2 Grand Prix?
I don't have it in front of me, but it was a pretty large number. I know that Guillaume Matignon won Grand Prix Bilbao with Is It Phoenix, and our good pal Matt Costa.
Yes,
he was in the finals of Tampa. I don't know if he won. Checking, he did not. He lost in the finals.
Shut it down.
Sorry.
I don't want to. I was really hoping that Costa would get that done. Now I don't want to watch anymore. Ruined my day.
Hate to do that.
Yeah. Or's deck, no main deck copies of Surgical Extraction. So he's going to, Arc-Light Phoenix is going to have to kind of manage the hard way.
But either way, in any way you slice it, pardon me, Is It Phoenix was very, very, very good this weekend for just about everybody who played it. That is to be sure.
So you can argue whether or not is Modern a healthy or less healthy format for the graveyard decks being as good as they are? What's the opportunity cost of banning things? All reasonable conversations to have, and people can fall on various lines. Cards have been banned in Modern for less than Faithless Looting. That is not up for debate anymore.
That is true. That is definitely true. I could not argue otherwise. It's a Serum Visions that's going to get our finals started here, everybody. Looks like both of you scryed to the bottom. A discard spell. Multiple copies of Thing in the Ice. A Manamorphose, a Snapcaster Mage. It looks like a Lightning Axe and a Thought Scour.
And Collins immediately scribed both to the bottom, so no chance. I mean, there was no chance he was looking at a land among those two.
Mm-hmm. You want to snap off that Thought Scour?
Probably. I mean, you have a lot of removal for a Thing in the Ice in the deck, so that's not super threatening. Snapcaster Mage sort of assumes you get to 3. Well, I think the choice is between Thought Scour or Snapcaster Mage. Put it that way. And if you have another discard spell in hand, then I think it's a pretty easy Thought Scour. Because you keep him off of land number... If he finds land number 2, you still have the opportunity to take Snapcaster Mage the following turn. And there's a good chance that Collins just misses his land drop.
Decisions here for John Orr. The thought might be, if you draw your second land, I really wish I didn't take that Thought Scour. So it's not that powerful of a card.
Yeah, if you don't have another discard spell in hand, then there's a really big risk of taking the Thought Scour, because then he draws the second land. He's got Manamorphose plus Thing in the Ice to get a little bit going, and then you're looking at Snapcaster plus Cantrip if he finds a third land, and then your discard didn't do all that much. But if you take the Snapcaster Mage or something else and leave the Thought Scour, you're giving him a lot of looks at that second land.
Well, Thing in the Ice was the choice. That one a little surprising. Here's Serum. Here's Thought Scour. Excuse me. Ding. Spirebuff can outpass the turn back.
I'm interested to see what's going on in Orr's hand, because the second copy of Thing in the Ice would have literally been the last choice out of his hand based on the cards I initially saw.
Here's an Inquisition of Kozilek. Lightning Axe, Arc-Light Phoenix, Thing in the Ice, Snapcaster Mage, Manamorphose.
Well, if you took Thing in the Ice the first time, I assume you plan on taking the second one also. Okay.
This time Snapcaster Mage.
I'm off. Every read is bad. Every play I suggest disagreed with.
Oh, Colin's going to play. Oh boy. Well, that's a card he can answer, actually.
He does have some answers. 4 main deck copies of Assassin's Trophy along with a Maelstrom Pulse. And based on what we know on Collins' hand, not a whole lot to get the ball rolling here.
But if the ball does get rolling, all of the attritioning is out the window.
For sure. You can't manage any sort of, removal and discard game against Pyromancer Ascension.
There's a Blooming Marsh. Now here's a Collective Brutality.
Take Manamorphose out of this hand.
Gonna take the Lightning Axe.
I mean, if he's got Tarmogoyf, I suppose, maybe Tireless Tracker. I'm getting a little antsy about or letting Collins cantrip here over and over again when his opening hand was not that good, not that smooth. Unless there's a concern over the Arc-like Phoenix getting into the graveyard and the Lightning Axe enabling that, but Manamorphose seems like a very dangerous card to let Collins have with Pyromancer Ascension and a hand that presently doesn't really go anywhere.
Fatal Push is going to immediately kill Thing in the Ice. That's not too surprising.
I mean, if Or took the Lightning Axe, I imagine we're going to see a threat this turn.
Yep, Scavenging Ooze, that counts. Another Blooming Marsh, pass the turn back.
The Scavenging Ooze, if you're going to set that up, that makes some sense on deprioritizing the Pyromancer Ascension and leaving the cantrip there. It's going to be hard for Collins to get counters on the Pyromancer Ascension if the Scavenging Ooze sticks.
Mm-hmm. Especially if Or gets to untap with it.
Right. Then the graveyard's just a non-starter for the rest of the game. Pyromancer Ascension is not going to amount to very much.
A Lightning Axe.
Two-headed giant players.
And it looks like the Ascension trigger is going to resolve as well.
Two-headed giant. Your next
Big draw step there for Collins.
Uh-huh.
Redundant spell for the Pyromancer Ascension. And getting that ooze off the table now gives Collins some hope that a cantrip off the top and he could be off to the races.
Ooze is going to eat the Thought Scour. We'll head back over to Or now. That is a Tireless Tracker and a land to go along with it. So here comes a clue. And we'll be heading back over to Collins, I think, here in just a moment. Maybe not. Thought sees you. Take your Manamorphose, leave you with an Arc-Light Phoenix.
It's a big hit, too. That Manamorphose gets him a draw to a cantrip.
Oh, there's a Flame Slash. Let's go back over to Or. Tireless Tracker, sack that. Tracker gets bigger. There's a land, make another clue. And get this thing rolling. There's a mountain, pass the turn back over to Or. Tracker's nice too because it starts to spiral out of control all by itself and becomes a large threat that can kill you.
Definitely. It's a good threat for Or to have to keep the gas coming here and try to close this game out quickly. But Collins, as long as that Pyromancer Ascension stays on the battlefield, Collins has some hope of overwhelming Or all in one shot. A cantrip that starts chaining together. We've seen it before. You can go from a pretty low base to drawing most of your deck.
Ooh, Tarmogoyf's nice too.
Yep, got to speed it up here.
Probably a 4-5. There's a Serum Visions. Well, yeah, you talked about having to speed it up. Well, here we go. 2 counters on the Ascension now. I think he may have kept them both on top. Here comes Faithless Looting, 2 versions. The real and the fake, but it's 4 cards all the same. Oh boy.
Or is in trouble.
Thought Scour. 1, 2.
Major trouble.
Draw. 1, 2. Draw. I think you saw that card underneath. So they'll fix that. There has been a little bit of scrying as well. We do have our head judge with his arms crossed behind Austin. And John Carter making sure everything is good to go. We're going to have at least 2 copies of Arclight Phoenix on the way back here. Austin receives a warning for looking at accidental cards. They sufficiently randomize the deck, and we keep moving. Arclight Phoenixes do not have to attack, of course, but they are back on the battlefield. So now we head back over to Orr, who, as Patrick mentioned, is in trouble. Tireless Tracker will draw a card. Liliana the Veil appears to be in hand here for Orr.
If Orr can find an answer to the Pyromancer Ascension, I think his position becomes excellent. But if Collins gets to get to the next turn, you know, he's got Faithless Looting in the graveyard, the likelihood that he's able to spin together a lot of stuff really high.
Yeah. Maelstrom Pulse is good.
Not thrilled with the, I guess the pre-combat, if it gets it to a 6-7, that's fine.
Gets it to a 5-6, it looks like.
The thing is, Collins got so many eggs in that basket. Like, the game is just about Pyromancer Ascension, that I think the likelihood that the Goyf being a 5-6 and hitting for an extra point is not worth as much as Collins planning his blocks like he gets to untap.
And he
with
just gets to
Pyromancer
get
Ascension.
Yeah, I agree. Looting. 2 lands.
I don't think it matters much either way. I think Collins is so likely to double block with or without Pyromancer Ascension. In one world, if he has Pyromancer Ascension, it's free to block, and if he does have Pyromancer Ascension, he has to block. But I think that's still prefer the other order.
Thing in the Ice comes down. Or will hit a land there with Field of Ruin. Going to activate Field of Ruin. Ooh, Field of Ruin plays well with Tracker.
Oh, yeah. Another little Yeah, oh, yeah.
Notice that
Green black cards.
I didn't notice that until right now.
A lot of interactions.
All right, Liliana plays well. Take care of that. Sack a clue, draw a card. Little of this. Search for a basic, get a clue. Tracker's a 7-power creature. We can turn this into a 2-turn game as Collins is going to search up an island there with the Field of Ruin. Basic swamp there for Orr. And now Thoughtseize reveals an island. So Collins is on air, as they say.
And in the abyss, as I like to say.
Yes. As this Tracker has done a great job for Jonathan Orr this game. Going to serve in here for 7. Collins going to fall down to 8.
So Crackling Drake is still, in theory, a live draw.
In theory, but I wouldn't feel great about it.
Yeah, unlikely to dig him out of this hole, but, you know, he could cast it. It could, in theory, block and trade. If Collins is doing this with his mana, then I think we're done for here.
Surgical Bolt. I don't think there's a way to keep it all, yeah, and be able to get back Phoenixes and blocking and everything else. So, Jonathan Orr gets himself out of some maybe serious trouble there and wins game number 1 over Austin Collins. Golgari mid-range up a game over Is It Phoenix?
A big sweat there. Found an answer to Pyromancer Ascension before things really got out of control. And absent of that, and without Collins having Arc-like Phoenix early on in the game, or it's just better kind of card economy, card quality, and removal spells, able to carry the day.
Let's do the whole sideboard thing, folks. It's 2 Blood Moon, 2 Spell Pierce, 2 Dispel, 2 Abrade, 7 one-ofs here for Austin Collins, and Beacon Bolt, Chandra Torch of Defiance, Anger of the Gods, Surgical Extraction, Ravenous Trap, Dragon's Claw, and Shatterstorm.
So there's only 2 cards in here I'm actively interested in, the Beacon Bolt and the Chandra Torch of Defiance. Both really good for playing long games against decks with a bunch of creatures. I think the Abrade, there's probably enough targets between Dark Confidant, Scavenging Ooze, and the creature lands to bring that in, but again, not really flush with exciting options here.
For Jonathan Orr, 3 Fulminator Mage, 2 Collective Brutality, 2 Nihil Spellbomb, 2 Surgical Extraction, 6 one-ofs for him in Damnation, Damping Sphere, Engineered Explosives, Grafdigger's Cage, Kitchen Finks, and Nissa, Vital Force.
So this is a question of how deep do you want to go? 2 copies of Surgical Extraction, pretty easy to bring in. 2 copies of Nihil Spellbomb, easy to be persuaded there. The opportunity cost is low, and Collins is doing some stuff with the graveyard. Is something like Grafdigger's Cage or Damnation or the Collective Brutalities above the line. Certainly there's enough play to them there, but Orr's deck is full of nothing but high-quality cards that do interact, so I don't know how much he feels he has in the way of bad stuff to make these swaps.
Well, we're going to find out soon enough how John Orr's feeling about his game number 2, as he's going to sideboard and get ready to rock and roll. But as you mentioned, if he's made it this far in this tournament, he's probably got some sort of configuration that works for him against Is It Phoenix, because either he didn't play against it very much, which is unlikely, or he did and he beat it quite a bit, which strikes me as more likely.
Yeah. And that game kind of looked like I would expect in the game where Arc-like Phoenix is not present early. And Collins had a shot that game for sure, but you can see sort of the secondary threats in the deck, particularly Thing in the Ice. It's going to be tough sledding to make much of that kind of card. Pyromancer's Ascension gives him a different dimension, or with a couple removal spells for it, but not nearly as dense as he is for Answers Thing in the Ice. And Pyromancer's Ascension was almost able to steal that game, but Or answered it, I think, basically the last turn he had a chance to do so. The Arc-like Phoenixes took a little while to get on the battlefield, and, I think that's kind of the script for Orr taking game 1.
War of the Spark is on its way, folks. We are looking forward to an awesome set and an awesome pre-release to go along with that set. April 27th and the 28th is when Magic's newest set will be headed out the doors for the pre-release, and we want you to get this awesome playmat, coup de paw, at that pre-release for War of the Spark. Of course, only available at participating stores is this exclusive playmat and newest member of the Star City Games Creature Collection. If you want to find a store near you that is participating in this awesome promotion and get the coup de paw playmat, go. That's starcitygames.com/pre-release. Has all the information for you. Again, it's going to take place on April 27th, the 28th for War of the Spark with 36 Planeswalkers, which is going to be a super sweet set.
An interesting design challenge.
So Lorwyn came out when?
06, 07, something like that. 05.
No.
08.
I think like 08. I think 08. You got a tablet in front of you.
Let's do a Lorwyn release date.
Yeah.
October 12th, 2007.
So that was 12 years ago?
Yep. 11 and a half.
11 and a half years ago? That means Austin Collins was
5 or 6.
5. Yeah. 5.
Why is Lorwyn the set in question here?
Oh, it's the first Planeswalkers.
Sure.
Yeah, first Planeswalkers. So Austin Collins was 5 years old when Garrick and Jason Company came out to play. The 16-year-old now from Kansas City, Missouri, who's played in 18 opens last year with 3 open top 8s. He's got 4 open top 8s all time. I suppose we're going to have to change that number to 5, along with 3 invitational top 8s, back-to-back-to-back, mind you, for the youngster who streams on twitch.tv/acollinsmtg and is a member of Team Nova, looking to put a title underneath that team's umbrella and a first for Austin himself He's 2 games away from doing it, but it might be a very difficult matchup, actually, for Izzet Phoenix.
I love Or's mana base.
Oh, talk to me.
4 Blooming Marsh.
Yeah.
4 Verdant Catacomb.
Yep.
4 Field of Ruin.
I got a feeling there's not a lot of overgrown tombs.
4 Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
2 Forest.
Mm-hmm.
2 Hissing Quagmire.
Mm-hmm.
2 Overgrown Tomb.
Mm-hmm.
2 Treetop Village.
That's nice.
It's a beautiful mana base.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Do you have any dopey 5th fetch land for blood? No.
No.
I have 4 Verdant Catacombs because that allows me to find green and or black mana as appropriate. That's all I care about.
That's right. I'm, of course, playing my green-black creature land.
Right, but only 2 of those because they enter the battlefield tapped.
And then I'm playing my green creature land because the black creature land, I don't even know, spawning pool? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Yeah,
And Treetop Village was the best of the bunch.
by a lot.
Let's go.
Of the original cycle, best by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the names of all of them?
Come on.
Really?
Come on.
Do you know? You do know?
Spawning pool,
Yeah.
Treetop Village,
Yeah.
Forbidding Watchtower.
That's
I
the
close
other-
my eyes. Fairy Conclave,
Yeah.
Gate to Encampment.
All right. Great job.
Thank you. Do I know? Disrespectful.
Maybe a little.
Do you know the name of the 5 Mercadian Mass depletion lands?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Take that, tough guy.
The ones that come into play tapped and tap for 2.
Uh-huh.
Sandstone Needle.
Correct.
Peat Bog.
That one's easy to remember. It's Pete's Bog, dude.
Pete's Bog.
Pete Bog.
These actually got played a little bit in Block Constructor.
Mm-hmm. This is your bread and butter time.
Mercadian Mask, it was. Yeah. Sandstone Needle. Okay. The blue one is troubling me that these are escaping me. I don't have it. I don't have the other ones.
You need the blue one? Surprise and Scary.
I thought that was the charge one.
I'm almost positive Surprise and Scary is the blue one. I could be wrong.
This is attempt number 27 to get lands that tap for 2 mana to work the right way. Didn't work.
I'm going to look on the tab. Ooh, hello. Spell Pierce Your Inquisition. You don't get to see my goods. Don't even think about it, homie.
Going to use the old tablet to look up Mercadian Mask's lands.
Whoever gave us these tablets, bad idea.
Yep.
That was my idea. It's time for a Serum Visions? Oh, yeah. I'm feeling pretty confident about the Scary, for what it's worth.
Hickory Woodlot.
I never get the green one, and I'm pretty sure the white one is I think it's Remote Farm.
That sounds right. Yeah, that one was played in bargain decks in standard. Back when you could play bargain decks in standard.
Here's a Faithless Looming from Boston.
Yeah, Saperson. Oh, confusing. You were right. Saperson Scary is the 2 mana one. I got it confused with Saperson Cove. Weird that they would have 2 of those.
Oh, that's on you. That's on you. Know your Magic cards, nerd. Let's go back over to John Orr.
Sweet lands here. Mercadian Mask. Cycle of 2 mana lands. Cycle of charge lands. Really rancid mana fixer in Henge of Ramos. Tap for colors, tap it, and 2 to add 1 color to your mana pool. But so you're let's say the 2 mana lands may be a mistake to make, but you're preserving some rate. Where would you like to put your power points? Naturally, Dust Bowl, Rashad Port.
That's correct. That is correct.
What a file.
Inquisition to go select takes Serum Visions.
Plus Tower of the Magistrate. Interesting design to do in a file with nothing to do with artifacts. But whatever. not causing that much harm, at least.
There should just be either Twitch streams or podcasts of you just going through vials.
Yeah. You know
That's
what
it.
we did we
could call it like the X-Files.
What I've done at work sometimes, a fun game is just You can go do this on Gatherer if you want to have a good time. Just search random Future Sight card. Just go up and just hit random Future Sight card, and whatever pops up on the screen will make you laugh.
It's a blue and a red. It's Manamorphose. And now Collins is going to sacrifice a fetch land.
Yeah. I think the hardest I've ever left to anything Magic related is random Future Sight search revealing Char Rumbler.
Powerful card. Collins is going to get his Steam Vents on tap, so that's access to 3 mana this turn. Neither player off to a particularly fast start this game. It's going to be Faithless Looting with Flashback here for Austin, so still searching for some goodies. Arclight Phoenix has finally been found. Looks like 2 copies have been found. It's a nice little card there. I'm going to place both in the graveyard, pass the turn back. They're not going to come back this turn. Very likely to do next turn, though. Jonathan Orr is going to sacrifice a Verdant Catacombs. I know that's not a different fetch land because he only plays Verdant Catacombs.
I only have Verdant Catacombs.
Mm-hmm. It's good for my job. Thank you, Jonathan. Let's go back over to you now. See what your third turn yields. A Forest. A Liliana the Veil. Plus it. Pluto Delta and Hissing Quagmire will bite the dust.
Really, I mean, Orr would love to have the Surgical Extraction here.
Here's a Serum Visions.
Gotta be worried about Collins being able to put together 3 spells. Attacking your Liliana down. I would imagine Orr would have just fired off a Surgical if he had it, though. Once Collins shows Spell Pierce, no reason to get fancy.
Here's a Sleight of Hand. There's a Thought Scour. 1. Oh, no. Surgical or... Oh, dear.
Nope.
Oh, dear. Yikes.
This is the card that's trouble. Colin maybe even debating not ignoring Liliana altogether.
I'm so into ignoring Liliana. We're knocking Liliana just down to 1, because then it doesn't matter.
I'm not sure if it doesn't matter, because Orr has a sideboard of Damnation that might have been brought in. Leaving Liliana at 1 if Orr goes land Damnation plus.
That's nice.
That is nice.
That is nice.
That's also a risk there of
Yeah.
leaving Liliana.
Kalidas minus Liliana make you sacrifice a creature, which is Arclight Phoenix, which is exiled, and now I get a zombie. That's a real problem. So now you got to split the difference.
Yeah, this looks splitting afterwards looks pretty bad.
Yep, does. Crackling Drake, pretty big. Draw a card. All right, Ori, you got a bunch of removal? If you do, you're doing pretty good. You got a lifelinking threat out there. And check the size of that Crackling Drake. Grow. That's nice. That is nice.
Yep. Great looking turn.
Yep. That Drake was 8 power. Trigger the revolt by sacrificing the zombie to Kalidas.
Another play that would not have been enabled had the Liliana been removed from the battlefield on that critical turn.
Mm-hmm.
Because Aura would have been without a token. I suppose you could do it with Field of Ruin, but this looks a lot worse.
Yeah,
I mean, now the race is, I mean, Collins cannot race from this position. This is not sustainable.
It takes multiple bolts now. Things in the ice are not great. And if you're Ori, you just need to keep gaining as much life as you can. So probably sack a zombie, attack again.
Well, if you sack a zombie and attack, now you're gaining more than Collins is dealing you. You know, you had to have some concerns about what that does if Collins' hand is just stringing together some cantrips. but there might not be a whole lot to be done about that regardless, depending on what's going on in Nora's hand.
All right. Gate 5. Flip the life totals. What's the follow-up? Tracker. And just pass. This is winnable for Collins. He's already got a bolt in hand. He's got 2 bolts in hand now. And dead you. Jeez.
Yep.
Jeez, this deck.
Whew. That was looked like that door was about to shut on Collins, but that key second bolt there, able to finish off the game before Or got back to his turn.
Boy, this deck is good. Tell you what.
Yeah, it plays a lot of really powerful cards that cost 1. And I think that's a good recipe in Modern.
You have felt this way we're going on year 4?
At least.
5?
Longer.
Yeah.
Longer.
Play the cheap ones.
Right, because you can play a lot of them in the same deck, and you can play multiple of them in turns.
Yeah, that's all
I
accurate.
like that mixture of stuff.
These players are going to look at their sideboards here one more time. So we're going to take a short break to hear from our friends over at Ultimate Guard. They've got a couple new products that are out now that we want you to check out. Game 3. Last one of the weekend.
For it all.
Good weekend here in Philadelphia, ignoring dinner yesterday.
Yeah, that was not great. Todd Anderson has lost recommendation privileges for the foreseeable future.
For the weekend, Todd is cut off.
Cut off.
For picking food options. We must make it public when one fails at food, because I've done it before and I'm still getting lambasted about it 4 years later.
Yeah.
Where do we go in Chicago that was bad?
I don't remember the name.
It's tough to miss in Chicago, too.
You know, I could tell right when I walked in. I could tell immediately.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
I've been to that restaurant before.
Yeah. I could tell something was amiss.
Not good. It's not good.
No.
No.
Gotta say, I know we spoke about this. Not a huge fan of ordering the queso dip and having it brought out in a small soup bowl with a spoon.
Yep.
Like you're supposed to lap it up like a dog when you're done with your chips.
It's not good.
I'm not really into the whole visual presentation of food sort of as a thing. I get, whatever, but I don't know how much it affects my dining experience. Mm-hmm. That was not a good look, though. That was enough for me to raise an eyebrow.
Here's the thing. It does affect your dining experience because that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
That happened yesterday.
You're an animal. And when you're done with the chips, when you're done with the way this was intended to be eaten, you're going to put your face down in this bowl and just slurp up the leftover cheese. And maybe you'll want a spoon to do that because it looks like soup.
That's what the spoon implied.
Unbelievable.
That's literally what the spoon said.
Unbelievable.
That's what it said. It was a tough night at Jay Alexander's. Are they calling you right now? Is that what that was?
I don't know.
They called to apologize?
Wasn't a number in my phone. I'll say that. I'll say that. I didn't pick up, but wasn't a number I had.
They probably calling to have a word or two.
So, we'll go somewhere else. I would like to leave the casino, though. I'm starting to lose my mind.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally understandable. A shack full of shakes is probably where we will dine this evening.
Cool. I've just ravaged my body this weekend.
I didn't know.
that's
I didn't know you could have Dunkin' Donuts. I think you seriously had. I think you've seriously had Dunkin' Donuts 6 times this weekend.
You know what's the best part about the Dunkin' Donuts?
What?
No line. You go right to the front. The pizza, the fried rice, there's a line. There's a lot of people trying to get that. Dunkin' Donuts, they looked quizzically at me like, are you back? So I tried to space it out a little bit. So, like, I would hit different people in different shifts, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be going back there for my 3rd bagel and 4th cup of coffee talking to the same person or whatever.
The bagel was so bad.
It was.
The everything bagel is so bad.
Yeah. It does. The upside is it does have everything on it.
It's like $6 too.
Yeah, well, we're at the casino, right? It's
Well, I guess they're marking it up.
Everything's upcharged, you know? You got to pay for the privilege.
And you certainly have been.
Yeah. Wallet, body, mind, all ravaged.
Jonathan Orr is going to play a turn 2 Dark Confidant. We'll see if it lives or not. Orr's ready to watch it die.
Yep.
There's a lightning bolt.
Yep.
I already started putting it in the graveyard. We head back over to Collins for his 2nd turn.
Tap 2, Raven's Crime.
Sleight of hand. Also, their coffee did not look fresh.
I don't know. That's hard for me to know, I guess. I don't know what the difference would be.
Here's a Thought Scour in response to the Inquisition of Kozilek. Sleight of hand, Thing in the Ice, going to the graveyard. We have a lot of Arclight Phoenixes. Along with a Thing in the Ice, I believe a Manamorphose?
Is that an Abrade or a Manamorphose?
It's a Manamorphose and a Steam Fence, and Austin was motioning
Take
towards...
the spell.
Yeah, take the spell. Obviously.
Yeah, Austin trying to get him to take that
Take the Thing in the Ice, yeah.
stupid creature against his black-green creature removal spell deck.
I mean, I admire the attempt.
Right.
Manamorphose probably should be banned. Take that.
Yeah, I'm really sick of that card too.
Here's Thing in the Ice, Steam Fence tapped.
Just the stuff that's about just moving cards around zones and not advancing the game that's really powerful. I'm done with it.
Tarmogoyf. Back to Austin. Here's a Scalding Tarn. And Crackling Drake is here. Draw a card.
I think if Orr misses a land drop here, I think he's going to have to just suck it up here and break the spell bomb and look. It'll run out of time.
Overgrown Tomb, Field of Ruin of the Lands. I guess Crackling Drake ends games fast. 4-5. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It's a good attack. Can put an artifact in the graveyard at will. Creature.
Well, also, I think
I got to count, right? Creature.
I think Orr's just happy to trade with the Crackling Drake. I don't think there has to be anything fancy going on here.
Okay, that's fair.
Collins here, I suppose, mulling over a block.
Spell Mom away. And Fatal Push. And Hissing Quagmire. Okay, that's a good turn.
Yeah, you would have preferred to have a land that entered the battlefield untapped, so you could do the Field of Ruin and keep the Spell Bomb around, but or just not with that kind of time right now.
I mean, that's his first good turn of the game, I think, so.
Yep.
Here's Thought Scour. Arclight Phoenix, Lightning Axe, draw a card. Sleight of hand.
I mean, if Collins can find Faithful Saluting here, he's going to blow this game wide open. I mean,
Transform.
this is just lethal, right? Or no, he's only got one Phoenix.
Yeah, he's one short.
One short.
All right, cool. You're at 1. I have 2 Phoenixes in my hand. You have to kill all my stuff and beat the Phoenixes in my hand.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even Damnation here because you just
dead.
cast it on the.
Yep.
You just cast a Phoenix.
Cool deck. Super cool.
Yeah.
Austin Collins gonna win this game and match here over Jonathan Orr. 2-1.